Hi and welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs of Africa. Today we're joined with Pamela from Zayana. Hi Pamela, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you. Can you please just give us a little brief background about yourself, where you come from, what you like to do?
Well, as you said, my name is Pamela. I come from Harare, Zimbabwe. It's a little country in Africa. I've been here for about 6 years now, roundabout. I came here initially to study, so I've done business, I've done early childhood education, and at the moment I'm doing business leadership and management, but I suppose at this stage Zayana is my baby, so we'll see where that takes me.
So can you tell us a little bit about Zayana? What got you into hairdressing?
Well, I've always had an interest in doing hair. Not only hair, but anything that I can get my hands on. Something different, something where I can look at it and watch it transform into something else.
Yeah.
So when I was about 10, 11, 12 years old, my mother had this fixation on doing this hairstyle where she would bind a block of hair in thread, attach it to another square of hair and she kept going until you've got little loops and bridges in your head, and I hated that. So I made up my mind and said, look, I'm going to learn how to do corners because everyone's doing corners. Yeah. And that's how I started. So I learned on grass, I learned on dolls. Wow. And I pretty much started learning on my own hair because dolls just didn't do it for me.
No, different texture.
Exactly. So from corners, I went to braids to weaves. And once I mastered that, I started experimenting with other hairstyles, different types of weaves. Dreadlocks, faux dreadlocks, and I just took it from there, and here I am.
Wow, so it's almost like an art form for you.
Pretty much.
So could you explain the business name, Zayana? What does that mean? When did you decide to use that name?
Well, I had been thinking and praying about that name for a while until at some point I had this peace in my heart about this name. Yeah. I can't really remember how it came about. Sometimes I feel like I made it up, but it just pretty much just...
Does it have a meaning to you?
It has a meaning. It means one who beautifies, one who adorns someone with beauty, and one who solves problems, which is what I wanted for my business, because in as much as I'm doing hair, and later on I'll be releasing calligraphy pieces, it's not about the hair. It has nothing to do with the hair. It has nothing to do with anything else that I do as an idea with the business. It's all about adding value to people. So long as it's something adding value to people, just watching people transform themselves from a place of insecurity to a place of being bold and saying, look, I've got a new hairstyle. I feel good about myself. Whether that means you've just changed something about your hair, or you've just made it look better and it wasn't looking very nice, which is common with me.
I think we all struggle with that hair days. So.
Exactly. So it's all about value and just making people know that no matter what they look like on the outside, we can work on that. That's on the outside. Yeah. But you need to know that you're beautiful on the inside. Yeah, and absolutely. I take that, pretty much twiddle my fingers, and voila.
Voila. Nice. So did you have any study background of hairdressing or anything as such? No?
Nothing.
Wow, that's brave, I think, to just go out there and do it. So
thank you.
So with your business itself, what's a typical day doing hair? What's it like?
Typical day doing hair is when I receive 3, 4, 5 bookings for the same time, and then I have to figure out how to incorporate that into my 9 to 5. Yeah. Which is sometimes not a 9 to 5. Most times it's a 7 to 11.
Wow.
By 11, I mean 11 p.m. Oftentimes I don't have time to do that hair, so I have to sacrifice hours at work. Oh, yeah. And it depends on the day. Some days there's nothing, which is important to keep yourself up, because anyone who's run a small business knows that when business isn't coming in, it's not very encouraging. Yep. So a typical day, you wake up, look yourself in the mirror, say, who am I going to encourage today? Yep. Whose life am I going to touch today? Oh goodness, what am I going to do? Client, meet the client, say hello, start doing their hair. And what I find tends to happen is people just talk to me. Yeah. something about being a personal hairstylist or a personal hair artist. Just puts people in their comfort zone, because I travel to people, make sure that they're getting that service within the comfort of their own homes.
Yep.
And we just talk, can be about anything, their struggles, their internal battles, whatever's happening at work. And then while I'm working on their crowns, I like to call people's hair crowns, because women, we are queens, so we must remember that.
Yeah.
So while I'm working on their crowns, bit by bit, we're just unfolding the little bits of chapters within their internal that are bothering them. So I find that while I'm doing hair, it's not, like I said, it's not about hair. It's just how it happens to manifest itself. Just loving on people, making sure they know they're important. Do their hair, we talk, I make friends, we move on to the next customer, and we start that whole process all over again.
Wow. So I think it's a bit more of a, it's almost like an entwined service. It's two services rather than one, I think, and to be able to have that, opportunity to sit down with someone who you've just met and kind of really touch them is a really, really special thing to do.
Yes, it is.
So just talking about, you said that you go into your clients rather than having them come to you.
Yes.
So how did this idea come about that instead of having, like, let's say a hairdressing shop, you'd much rather be a mobile kind of business?
Well, a couple of things came to mind. One, as a woman, there's never enough time to fit in the moments where you just want to spoil yourself and be a girl. Just do your hair, or whether it's a necessity or it's something on the side, just prettying up. Another thing is that I find that a lot of my customers are mothers. They don't have that luxury to fit in whatever time they want to themselves. Another thing is sometimes the shops that are around here, especially being an Australian as an African woman offering services, expressing my hairstyling gifts through the African culture, not a lot of stores or people offer that in Australia. So to be able to bring that into people's homes is something that I find so many people are grateful for. A lot of people would call me. That's how it actually became something that was consistent. I'd get people to come to me, then I'll go to them sometimes. The more people that ask me to just come to their homes, the more I realize that this is something that's of great demand. So I pretty much tailored my schedule and everything else around my clients, because they're like my little family. So I want to make sure that they're okay, they're taken care of. And I find it's just easier for them to make sure that they get what they need in the time that they need and don't have to worry about it. Then they just...
And I think that's a really, really important thing to touch on in a business that's, that's customer based. It's based around the customer's needs and, what the customer actually wants. So working around the customer and putting the customer first, I think you've done that really well.
Thank
so
you.
Props to you on that. So what are some... So you're finding that this mobile idea has become really popular, and a lot of people actually, coming to it. So how do you, I suppose, manage the financial part of it, of traveling to people, and what are generally just the distances that you travel for your clients?
Distances. I'll touch on distances first. Pretty much within the Brisbane region. I have traveled to the Sunshine Coast and Gold Coast before. Sometimes even if it is within Brisbane, because I use the bus and public transport. A trip within Brisbane can cost me an easy 2 hours sometimes.
Wow.
Sometimes 1.5 hours. Sometimes it's 20 minutes, 5 minutes down the road. It comes down to your passion and your love for what you do and the love for the people that you do it for, because it's no longer a cost. It's simply what happens. It's just what it is.
So it's just something that you're willing to do. It's
something that I'm willing to do.
Walking the extra mile. I like that.
Yes, and in terms of how do I manage the finances of traveling to people, I pretty much set a fixed rate, fixed prices for my customers. If it's a distance that's a bit too far, then of course I'll add just a small $5 charge on top to travel that extra distance. But I don't add the cost of traveling to my customers in my prices. It's just, if you come to me, if I go to, it's the same thing. And I find my students like it because they get discounts.
Absolutely. So I know that hairdressing and sitting down to braid someone's hair can sometimes take hours. So how do you find that motivation? For example, let's say you have 2 clients a day, you have to do both their hairs. How do you find that motivation to sit those hours and actually be motivated to put your best into that?
Well, I stand.
Wow.
Throughout the whole process, I stand, and I've learned something about myself throughout my journey of just growing up. I'm very task oriented, and because I haven't only learned how to master the skill, but also teach myself speed in the skill. An 8-hour job for me could easily turn into a 4-hour job. A 6-hour job, 3 hours. Sometimes it depends with how complex the job is. Could be those tiny ones or just simple box braids. It all really comes down to just loving what you do, passion for what you do.
Absolutely.
You can't tell someone who's not passionate about something to do something, they will struggle. So that's something I would encourage anyone out there who wants to start their own business. Find something you're passionate about, find something you love, because if you're trying to copy everyone and do something else that everyone else is doing, you're going to struggle and you're not going to be able to do it. So what drives me is just my passion for my little Zayana family.
That's awesome. So have you faced any challenges as of starting a business, or as of yet until now? Have you faced any challenges?
Oh yes. Where do you want me to start?
What do you think is the most valuable one to share with us? What was the challenge and how did you overcome that?
My greatest challenge was people.
Wow.
People. That's my greatest challenge. I'll explain what I mean now. I found that a lot of the times I had this idea, I was doing what I was doing, and I was sharing it with some people, and I found the response wasn't very motivational.
Yeah.
It was more of a, are you sure you can do this? And of course it instilled doubt in me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I suppose that's why it delayed me to actually go up and register my business, although I've been doing hair for an easy 10 plus years. I only just registered it last year.
Wow. Okay.
So how I conquered that was I had to set myself aside from what people thought of me, what I thought people thought of me, and just not think about that, not dwell on the doubts, just go for it. Because at the end of the day, if I just sit on an idea and I just not do anything about it, worry what people are going to think about me, I will never become who I was meant to be.
Exactly.
And I'll never do what I was made to do, and I'll be sitting on my purpose because I'm thinking about what ABC will say about it.
Absolutely.
So that's how I conquered it. I just had to believe in myself, especially when people didn't believe in me. And even when people did believe in me and were trying to sell their ideas and perceptions in me, I pretty much took it, filtered it, got rid of all the gunk, and said what is most helpful, what will help me grow. And then I kindly declined to accept that which was going to bring me down. So that's how I conquered that.
Awesome. So you kind of did touch on the next question for that, but I'm just going to go ahead and ask it. Have you faced any criticism, let's say from your clients or from anything that you had to step back and think about? So any sort of criticism at all?
Criticism from my clients? That's a very good question. I have to think long and hard about that. Not so much. If they have criticized me, I don't know about it. But I suppose the only thing that I have been criticized on, maybe not criticized, but a comment that was made, was that I would be best able to manage my time a little bit more if I was more mobile. Which of course is something that will come when the time comes, but as a student, not only as a student but an international student who is not only fending for myself and paying my own school fees, paying my own expenses, and also making sure that expenses back home are taken for in my family, that is of course something that I've had to step back and say, okay, so is this a priority, or do I get to please everyone at the same time right now while making everything else suffer? So yes, I did have to step back and actually think about that one. And I suppose the next stage of my little baby will be to make sure that she has a portable little thing that's going to mobile little thing that's going to drive her around. But that's had to wait for the moment, because I need to think about whether I just want a car to drive around, or I want a mobile vehicle that's going to accommodate my customers to come in with an already set up salon right inside. So I can drive to them, they can come to me inside, serve them, bye, quick, off to the front door. So
that's awesome.
Little sneak peek.
Yeah. Well, we can expect
what you may expect.
Awesome. So for anyone who wants to, let's say, start a business, maybe in hairdressing also, do you have any tips or any sort of advice for them?
I have lots. Let me open my book. Well, we could all talk about what you should do, what you must do, but it all comes down to just believe in yourself. If you don't have the skill, if you don't have the talent, go and get the skill. Learn about it. Study on it. Watch other people. Find inspiration from the people who you want to learn from, the people who have succeeded or on a journey to succeeding in what you want to do. They're doing something right. So my advice would be to watch them, see what they're doing. If you can get into programs as an assistant of some sort, even if you're doing work for free, there is such a thing as the currency of free. People will look at you while you are in your place of doing something for nothing, and people will be able to trust you with whatever support they want to give you because you're able to do it out of passion and for nothing. So if you don't have the talent, don't let it discourage you. Many people don't have the talent. We learn on our way. Just give yourself the benefit of the doubt and believe in yourself enough to actually teach yourself that which you don't know. And the only other thing is just to believe in yourself. It all comes to belief. Because if you don't fuel what you have inside here and here into your faith and into your actions, it'll never become tangible. It'll always be in here, and you'll watch other people achieving what you wanted to achieve, and you'll die slowly inside.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah. So one last little question that I think you might like. What do you feel is the importance of passion? How important is passion in doing hairdressing and doing your business and doing whatever it is? How important is putting your passion into that?
Passion is everything. I cannot stress this enough. Passion is everything. Because if you're looking at something as a job or a task, you're just going to do it to get it done. Whereas if you apply your passion to something, you're looking at it with such excitement and you want the best possible outcome from this, from start to finish, to be achieved. That's why I don't like to call myself a perfectionist. I am a perfectionist. But I don't like to call myself a perfectionist because when you have passion, you'll apply yourself. You'll give your all from start to finish. Passion will drive you. Literally, I have had times when I'm not working and I've had to do clients from early in the morning, such as 6 o'clock, and then I end up coming home at 1 a.m. and I'm just doing hair. Or I've had single 12-hour jobs, and the one common comment I have from my clients, which I love it fuels me, it gives me life when I hear this, is, "Oh, you didn't do chunks at the back. Well, it's all the same. Oh my goodness, I went to such and such and she did that." And for me, it's not a, haha, I did better than such and such. For me, it's, oh wow, look at that smile on their face. I was able to be consistent and to continue in my consistency, and I surprised them. Not only that, I restore faith in myself if I have any doubt. If I hear someone else commenting on what my passion produced, then I'm like, we can do this, which is important because you'll have your down days.
Absolutely.
With that passion and that heart, you will stay down.
And that's another drive, I think.
That's another drive, yes.
So finally, how can someone contact you if they would like your services? Where can they get in touch with you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram, Zayana Official, all one word, and on Facebook, Zayana. I'm just Zayana. I wish I had a fancy name for that. And my website is still in the running, but I will announce it on my Facebook page, on my Instagram page as well once that's done.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today, Pamela.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was great.
No problem. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Entrepreneurs of Africa. Stay tuned for the next episode. Season 1 is almost done, so we'll see you guys next episode. Thank you so much.